Football is a really funny game. Manchester United 3, Arsenal 2. And I'm just going to say it. Michael Carrick, you have changed my life. You, my friend, have pulled me back in just when I thought I was out, just when I thought I was finished after the Amorim sacking. No idea who they're going to bring in to be the interim. Darren Fletcher takes over for a couple of games. United get knocked out of the FA Cup by Brighton. Just when I think I am finished with the season, Michael Carrick gets appointed and United go and beat Manchester City in the derby, and then they go to the Emirates against the league leaders. And make no mistake about it, Manchester United put on an absolute clinic today. And we're about to get into it right now. As always, if you are enjoying the content, please remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so it all means a lot. But let's get into exactly how Michael Carrick outclassed Mikel Arteta in this game at the Emirates. So when it comes to the team news, I don't really think it's much of a surprise. Michael Carrick decided to go with an unchanged 11 that got the better of Manchester City in the derby. And I don't think, you could really fault him, because I thought that to a man, United were brilliant in that game. And once again, they were brilliant today. Arsenal went with David Raya in goal, Jurrien Timber, William Saliba, Gabriel and Hincapié as the back four, Odegaard, Zubimendi and Rice as their midfield three, and Bukayo Saka, Gabi Jesus and Leandro Trossard as their front three. Now, going into this game, one of my biggest concerns, I guess, was how were Manchester United going to deal with the wide balls, most specifically when it came to Bukayo Saka isolating Luke Shaw. One thing I've picked up on quite frequently watching Arsenal is the usage of their two fullbacks in Hincapié and Timber, whoever it may be, kind of pinning or trying to pin the center halves and giving Dalot and Luke Shaw a question. But I gotta be honest, I thought defensively, especially when Arsenal had a lot of possession in United's final third, specifically in that first 20-25 minutes, I thought Arsenal were by far and away the better team. They definitely looked the more likely to score. I was seeing a lot of possession with the ball for Arsenal, but I wasn't necessarily seeing anything that was making me worried as a Manchester United fan. One, because I thought United were extremely disciplined off the ball, and I thought they did a really good job of keeping everything in front of them. But number two, I still really feel like Arsenal lack the players in midfield to take risks and to take chances. We've spoken a lot about it before, about Bruno Fernandes, and there has been many conversations about him in the past in terms of how he's careless with possession. But I want my attacking midfielder to be able to take those risks and to be able to take those chances. And it's not always going to come off, and that's not what's important. But what's important to me is that he at least tries. But I got to be honest, I thought Manchester United in their defensive shape, they were defending in the 4-4-2, and we're going to get into it. I thought they were very compact. I thought they were very disciplined. I thought Bruno and Mbeumo did a really good job of making sure that Arsenal didn't have the chance to progress the ball centrally. And then when the ball was going wide, they were stepping out, and they were basically making Arsenal continue to recycle possession. So although Arsenal had a lot of the ball in the first 20-25 minutes, especially before they scored the opener, I didn't really feel like they were troubling United a lot. And I think, one, that comes down to the fact that United were extremely good defensively. They were well organized. They were extremely disciplined. But in my opinion, when I watch Arsenal, I still think that they lack that creativity in midfield to play that final pass, or at least to try and play that final pass. What I've seen a lot, in conversations with United fans or non-United fans when I'm speaking about Bruno Fernandes, is a lot of people have told me in the past that they don't like the way that he's consistently taking risks. They wish that Bruno Fernandes would take more care of the ball. And I think that could definitely be an argument when you look at the overall scope of his career as a Manchester United player. But in my opinion anyways, I think when you're a midfielder, an attacking midfielder, I think the idea has to be, if we can go forward, if I can break a line, if I can get my attackers through on goal, I'm going to try it. And is it always going to come off? Of course not. But I'd rather Bruno Fernandes have an 84% pass accuracy, for example, but play one or two final balls that make all the difference, then have Bruno Fernandes have a 100% pass accuracy where he's just going side to side. And I feel like sometimes when I watch Arsenal with all of the quality they have, I feel like sometimes it's a little bit timid. They don't really want to take that chance. So let's get into what we saw in this game specifically, because I thought there were some really good things for United. And yeah, so as I was speaking about in the beginning of the video, what Arsenal do is they push their fullbacks really high to create a line of five. So Hincapié and Timber are essentially playing either side of Gabi Jesus. And then you have the midfield of Odegaard, Zubi, and Rice, and then obviously Gabriel and Saliba in the back. And I thought United, again, you can see here very much a 4-4-2 shape, very compact, denying the ball to get played through the lines. Casemiro and Kobe, I thought again today, absolutely brilliant. It's incredible what happens when you profile your players correctly. But what I noticed when Arsenal was in this specific phase of play was how concentrated throughout the game Amad and Dorgu were in particular, because they were tasked with marking those players, Hincapié and Timber, making sure that they didn't get in behind and create overloads on those sides. And you can see it here. On the opposite side, you see Amad tucking in. You can see Hincapié over here. And then in this one, you see Dorgu quite tucked in. And then Timber's kind of gotten all the way up the pitch. You can see here alongside Lisandro, and Dorgu has dropped into that space. And just looking at this picture, United didn't give Arsenal anything. They really didn't. I thought it was a masterclass performance in terms of shape off the ball, the way that they defended, their intentions when they would win the ball. I thought it was really good. But as I always do on this channel, although I am a United fan and we analyze all of the football, it cannot always just be praise. It cannot always just be celebrations. There has to be a balance. And for me, a balance is very important when I'm analyzing United, when I'm analyzing football in general. And this is where Arsenal did a really good job to pull United out. And this is actually where the opener comes from. So Amad Diallo is essentially right now playing as the 9, and then there's a bit of a diamond with Kobe, Mbumo, Casemiro, and Bruno. But what I don't love here is Mbumo doesn't really seem to notice that he needs to cut this pass off. But Gabi Jesus does a really good job of driving into the space here, carrying Maguire with him. And then Hincapié kind of just drifts into this part of the pitch here. Gabi waits for Mbumo to kind of start engaging him. He plays that ball to Hincapié. And then you can kind of even see Dalot here saying who's marking Hincapié. And he has a ton of green grass to run into. He plays in a ball. Dorgu has to be responsible and be aware that Bukayo Saka is running back post. Obviously, Dorgu tries to head it clear, falls to Saka. Saka plays it into Odegaard. Odegaard gets it towards goal. Unfortunately, it bounces off the heel, I believe, of Lisandro Martinez. And it's a pretty disappointing goal to concede because, like I said, even though Arsenal had a ton of possession, I don't really feel like they were dangerous. But again, with the quality that they have, you give them a chance, they're going to take it. And they did that, and they go up 1-0. So obviously, the first goal for United, I mean, it is an absolute disaster. If we're being completely honest, by Zubimendi. He tries to play a back pass, completely fluffs his lines. I really like the intensity and the pressure that Bruno and Mbumo were playing with regardless of the fact that this is a mistake. I love the fact that Bruno and Mbumo were always looking to press Arsenal's back line and make them make those mistakes. I felt like especially as the game progressed, Arsenal did not look composed whatsoever, especially when they were trying to play from the back. And I felt like that came a lot from the fact that United were doing such a good job of putting pressure on them. And even though it's an absolute mistake, a disastrous mistake from Zubimendi, Mbumo still has a little bit of work to do here. I think Raya actually does a good job of coming out, closing the angle of Mbumo. And I'm not going to lie, when I'm watching this game on my TV, I'm screaming for Mbumo to just lay it off to Bruno, and he has an empty net. But with the confidence that Mbumo has right now, just scored in the derby, scores again against Arsenal. He scored against Liverpool. He scored against Spurs. He's a top player, and I'm so happy that United brought him in the summer. Rounds past David Raya and slips it in, and just like that, the response that United needed, it is 1-1, and I'm confident that we could take something from this game. Now, let's look at the second goal. Lisandro Martinez, and listen, let's talk about Lisandro Martinez for just a second. For me, the best ball progressor in Europe when it comes to center halves. The way having this guy in build-up, having this guy in any phase of the game with the ball at his feet is an absolute cheat code This guy is incredibly special. I am so happy he plays for this club. But anyways, I thought Dorgu again was brilliant today, and he finds this little pocket of space. And you can see here, Arsenal don't really. And in this goal, I mean, it's an absolutely incredible finish from Dorgu, and we're going to get into that. But I really just like the positions that he took up in this goal and the quick little combination football that he played. I thought it was incredible with Bruno. So Lissandro again, best ball progressor for me, fizzes this in to Dorgu. Dorgu with a little ball to Bruno. But what I love here is that it's not just a pass, it's a pass, and he's already looking to find the next space because he knows Bruno, he knows he wants to connect. Bruno plays that little ball around the corner with Dorgu. Dorgu makes that good run, sets it out of his feet, and I mean, he just absolutely I have no words for this goal. I have no words for this finish. I saw a lot of people on social media joking that Patrick Dorgu is in his Gareth Bale era. He's looking to become the next Gareth Bale. And I'm just so happy for Patrick Dorgu. I think, he's had his moments where he probably wasn't his happiest with his performances, but I think he provides United a lot. And I mean, this goal at the Emirates in a game that's so important for Manchester United, he just absolutely smashes this thing. And United go up 2-1. Incredible. And of course, as Arsenal do, they equalize on a set piece. And listen, I'm not somebody who is going to ever discredit a team for winning a game of football. There's a really good saying that goes, winners celebrate and losers explain. At the end of the day, this is a results business. If you're in pro sport, the idea is to win. And it doesn't always matter if it's a good performance. If you leave the game with the 3 points, that's all that matters. But for me, I just don't love the idea of playing for corners. And it almost seemed like the Emirates got most excited when Arsenal had a corner. That's not necessarily the football that I like, and it's not the football that I enjoy. But come May, if Arsenal are lifting the big trophies, then Arteta and the players and the fans, they all have the right to say, no one cares what anyone else thinks because we are lifting the trophies. And if that happens, fair play to them. But quite a disappointing way to drop all 3 points. Or so I thought. Cue Mateus Cunha. And listen, Mateus Cunha has quickly become one of my favorite Manchester United players. And I really want to go through the moments of this goal. So from a goal kick, Lamens goes long. And this is why I love the fact that when Patrick Dorgu got injured, and I hope he's okay, I hope it was just precautionary, Michael Carrick was positive in his substitutions and he brought on Benjamin Sesko. Sesko is holding off, I believe that's Saliba, I might be wrong, but just look at the bodies around Sesko. He has Cunha, he has Kobe, he has Bruno, and he has Ahmad. This is what I want to see. The second balls in the Premier League in today's game are so important, and this goal doesn't happen without it. One thing about Kobe is in these tight spaces, he is on another level. You can argue about Kobe in larger spaces, and I think he's improved that part of his game massively. But in tight spaces and little spaces, there are few midfielders in the world you'd want more, in my opinion, than Kobe Mino. And the same can be said about Mateus Cunha in this little half space here. When he picks up the ball in these zones, in this little pocket of space, he is incredibly dangerous. He gets the ball, he gets on the turn, he drives forward, and there is only one thing that he has on his mind the entire time, and that is, I am going to smash this ball into the far post. I am going to put it exactly where David Raya cannot get his fingers to it. And that's exactly what he did. Absolutely incredible goal from Mateus Cunha. And Manchester United go up 3-2. And thankfully, they hold on and get a massive 3 points. Now look, Michael Carrick said it. It's a huge win. It's a great performance. But you cannot get carried away. I tweeted something along the lines of, as much as I love this performance, and I love the fact that United got the better of City and Arsenal in just a week, I am really intrigued to see how these players do in a game where they are going to be forced to be the team with more of the ball. But make no mistake about it, Michael Carrick, in a very short period of time, has shown what happens when you profile your players correctly. I think it is way too early for United fans to get ahead of themselves and believe that the good days are coming back, because we know what happened in the past with interim managers and we know how it ended. But if United can continue the way they're going after these two performances, and it's not going to be perfect from here on out, but if they can really make a push for Champions League football, if they finish in the top four, in my opinion, depending on the football that we play as well, the answer to your next manager might be right in front of you. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below about this game. Let me know, if you are a United fan, what you think about the possibility of Michael Carrick becoming the new permanent manager of Manchester United. I know it's early. Just when you think you're done with this club, they always pull you back in. That's it for this one. I appreciate everybody who's been watching. I'll chat to y'all again very soon. Remember to hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload. Until next time, peace.